Okay, everything seems to be working, but I guess the camera isn't the best. Okay, hello everyone. This is AZ from RLC, and I just spontaneously decided to make this live stream because I felt like it. Um, I guess there are some things I can talk about, and I don't have anything planned. I don't have a specific agenda or anything. Um, so I guess I'll just see what I'm doing. Also, I need to check if everything is set correctly. There was like this, the video format was set on UEVE or something. However, that was a really pretty bad format because it kept lagging all the time. I guess I can demonstrate it real quick. Um, yeah. As you can see, it's way laggier now, and that's not very good, so I'm gonna pick H.264. That's pretty good, I think. So yeah, well, I think that's old news by already, but we did reach 1,000 subscribers on RLC, and that's pretty great. It was like not so special. However, it's still, I think, a nice experience to have like to build up this thing. However, as I can say, in my community post, which was, when was it? 4 months already. um, yeah, 4 months already. I already did announce our 1,000 subscribers, and it hasn't changed much since. But then I already mentioned that this whole channel was like not a one-man project. I think it's wrong to say that I consider it like my work because a lot of it wasn't. I was the one who founded it, and like in April of 2018, I was like, I don't know how young I was then. That was like, oh yeah, wait, I'm gonna look into, yeah, I'm AZ. Yeah. Yeah. It was started by me. It was in April, and that was, I think I was 11 back then. That's that's funny. Um, so yeah, since I was the first staff, like I don't know why, but I did kind of want to expand our presence onto YouTube because I thought it was a nice community, but well, maybe in 11-year standards aren't that high. So, well, I joined, was like chronically online by that time already, and decided to make that channel and make a promotion video, like in hopes of pushing the server up and getting members to join. Because like what Shah had in his channel was like rolling sky videos. However, there wasn't much attraction to the server itself by that factor. Like there was just gameplay, and then if you wanted to chat more about the community, then you just joined. However, like there weren't any more reasons to join the community, like convincing them with a nice member base, with all the events we can do. He did eventually do something like that. Where I was also in the video that was pretty flattering. I think that was a remix of Desert, I think, the level Desert. And there he mentioned that there's several challenges happening in the server because our main goal was like challenges. That's also what the first name was, Rolling Reflex Games Challenges. Actually, not the first name, but one of the names. But yeah, events were a pretty big thing back then. So yeah, that was more or less a tool. Try to be a tool in order to push things and grow the server more. Um, as we can see, it didn't really help. Wait, someone is knocking. Okay, let's see if I can save it. I hope. Hello, hello. Okay, good. I managed to save it. Okay, there was someone knocking and I had to respond. Um, Yeah, I mean, the live stream isn't meant to be exciting. There's really not that much I can talk about except the things that matter to me. Um, yeah. The CEO of RL I used to be, um, from like 2020, 2021 to 2023 until stuff happened and I just didn't want to anymore. Well, not officially, but like de facto. Yeah, there was that time. Um, but no, not the moment, not currently at the moment, and I think it's better this way because I'm also having university now, or well, dual studies, and also working. Um, and yeah, it's pretty tough. Mathematics, especially mathematics, is pretty hard. A company with a lot of failures, but I guess it's a new chapter of life, and just get it through it and then see what we can do or what we can't do. My opinion on the re-upload and Rolling Lounge is that he's a very nice member, bringing joy and I don't know. Well, I'm pretty good with you, and my opinion is rather positive towards you. If that's what you like to hear, like I do enjoy the conversations I can have with you. Yeah, but I can't say much. I'm sorry. However, where was that again? Oh yeah, the official goal. It didn't work out. Like the original goal on having like this the channel be the main promotion place for the server. However, that's okay too. In the end, what it became was like more of something to do for fun, like not a way to attract members from outside, but for the current members of the server to enjoy. So let me see what I first did. Let's just switch over in here and see what we did. Yeah, first was the promotion video, and then you can see like I did the announcement animations. These were like supposed to be a way to visually show what happened in the server, but as simple as they were like quite hard to make. Like even though it's not hard, I'm lazy and I can't do that much. I also attempted to do singing animations, as you can see, these dancing animations, as you can see here. However, that didn't last for long, as you can see. So eventually it just more became stuff to do for the members themselves, like here's some singing videos and some random shit posting and then telling every member's name, like, I don't know, I thought it was fun. Making some animations related to servers, and then there was also the phase where Roll Mike mostly joined in with the open tournaments, and it was like a lot of views came from that, so I was quite happy, even though that wasn't really my work. As I said, it was like it has community in the channel. It's like its main purpose was actually to be, well, I'm not sure if you can call it the main purpose. However, one purpose was that it was actually by the community for the community. So that also the community was involved in making the videos for it. This did happen to an extent, however, um, not that cluttered. So there's still a definitive set of editors at the moment. It's like just me and Bendy who are doing the videos. However, in the past, it also used to be a bit more. This Moose comedies, they were made by NG Adam, as you can see here, introducing your new RSDC channel manager, NG Adam. And then, well, the wrong tournaments were done also by Raw Mike. And then afterwards, we made Laserzol, Hamza join in, and that's also where RSDC music is. That's quite a phase of the channel. It was like a lot of videos, and they were all, well, the visualizers, they were partly hard to make. However, as you can see, a lot of the RSDC videos, like, they consisted of having all of these mashups, and well, people didn't find them that good. I haven't like looked that much enough to it in order to judge. However, it's not the set of videos I replay the most often. Um, However, after some time it also decreased. Like there was some here, but it decreased more and more. Oh yeah, this montage is something I still like a lot. I'm pretty proud of it. It's not that much. I had a shitty phone and trying to record the recordings for it in order to match correctly. Um, but still, it's something to look back to, I think. Questober, that was by Joel, I think. I'm not sure. Just look into it real quick. Ah, yeah, the video was. Okay. Okay, that's fun. This video was made by Jack O'Lantern. He, however, doesn't want to be credited, so yeah. Okay. That's... Doesn't want to be credited, but credit him anyways. Oh, what's my favorite co-creation level? Let me just answer that real quick. I don't know. I'm actually gonna have to look at what the co-creation levels were. Actually, Bouncing City was a co-creation, right? I'm not sure. However, I would say I like Bouncing City a lot. I've heard people say negative things about it. However, for me, mostly the main factor on enjoying a level is the music, actually. So even if the gameplay isn't the most easy, it's like if the music is nice, then I will enjoy it one way or another. So let me just quickly hop into Rolling Sky and then look to see what there is also in all in German. Oh yeah, Kaleidoscope is also pretty nice, I think. From the music there, I also beat it. Oh yeah, Sewing Factory is also a really nice one. Even though that's like very hated from what I can see in Rolling Lounge, however, I do like it. Musical Theater is also a very good one from the music, and in the Chinese tap version, I have it at 92%. I keep dying there, and it's starting to frustrate me a bit, but I still like the level a lot. And well done, Bouncing City. Oh yeah, Lab Confidential is also pretty nice, I think. Yeah, I did beat Lab Confidential. That's probably the hardest Minimax level I've played. Like there was also this one 6-star New Year's, I think, but I did find that easier than Lab Confidential, personally. Lab Confidential, did I use checkpoints? I think I used checkpoints. However, I'm kind of out of the loop from the whole Rolling Sky things by now because I haven't been playing it that much. I also feel kind of overwhelmed with the updates. They are too much to me, and I also didn't like the way of updating like from the APKs, and I didn't really want to bother with tap. So I've actually started a mini project, a Rolling Sky Manager. I don't think I've told this before, maybe in RL, however, like this project to automatically get if I have any news of Kathy. Well, yeah, we're still in contact, and well, I'd say we're doing quite well. We're just, I don't know, chilling, I guess, off RL. However, we're still chilling, and well, I can't speak for her, because like she's a distinct person, and we are not that ingrown anymore as we have previously been. We're still very good, but like there was like this time in 2022 and 2023 where we were like so deeply ingrown, and that wasn't a very fun time in my opinion. There was like this whole FOMO era. Maybe I think a lot of RL members also experienced that phase. They were like all in one, even on names match or PFPs match and all that. And we also only went in places if it was like me, Kathy, and work, and not fun. However, I'd still say doing good probably. The hardest level I beat in Rolling Sky, I think it well, by the time there were only 3 birthday levels, I had beaten all of them. So it depends on probably what you find the hardest. Is it like T4A, the 4th anniversary, happy birthday, and what else was there? There was a third, I think, or was there? I'm not sure. I have to look into Rolling Sky again to see. Never mind. I think it was only 2. It was like this one screenshot I remember of me flexing of having beaten all 6-star levels, and given that it fit in my J7 2016 screenshot, I would suppose that it was only happy birthday and the 4th anniversary. Are there any harder levels on that? I didn't beat any other 6 stars other than New Year, but I knew that New Year is significantly easier. I also beat Halloween Night when it was still a 5-star. It's now a 6-star. But I'm guessing that it's the 4th anniversary. That is probably the hardest I've beat. Lab Confidential is 5-star, not debated to be 5-star, I think. I would say the 4th anniversary is probably the hardest I've beaten, even though it took me significantly less than Happy Birthday. Happy Birthday, I think I've beat that over a span of several months, I think 3 months. However, the 4th anniversary, I think I beat that within a span of 3 days. However, I would like it also depends on how much you'll lock in into beating the level. If you just do occasional playing, then it surely will spread out through multiple months. However, I truly did lock in T4A, so yeah, in 3 days I think, and I still felt pretty proud of that. Some may differ. However, I was pretty proud of that. Oh yeah, what was I talking about? I was talking about yeah, the RSDC phase of the whole music, and that wasn't really that fun. And one thing I also always wanted to do is to make Rolling Sky animations, like in-depth ones with stories and all that. I talked about it a lot on Oriel, and I got Sha really intrigued in it. Was also making scripts for it. However, it didn't really come to much of an animation as I wanted. One time I did make this 0.5 animation. However, that also wasn't that good. It was funny, I suppose. However, it wasn't that much effort put into it. You can see it, yeah, pretty simple. It's like just like some keyframes of that thing rotating all the time, the camera moving some, and then trying to make smooth movement. But as you can see, the movement wasn't that smooth either. And I think the gimmick of this was is that I found some shitty website on making mouse synthesizers and then just put this image, put this line in here in order to make it match with the elevator. Because usually I think it would generate something with the background, and that way it didn't really work, and I also didn't really know chroma key back then. So I think I put that background as the great thing of the other sides of the elevator and then put a line in here to make it match. And then me speaking about doing something myself, and this part, oh my god. I don't know how I left that in. I was such a um, shitty keyframe. Like I heard something about like the principles of movement or something. That you need to move something in one way um, to make it good. However, that didn't really work out because I didn't spread the things evenly, the keyframes evenly, so it just became really bad. And differences between, yeah, the dynamic just sucked, however. Wow. It happened, and I guess it's just that way. However, it's still something I do look kind of positively back on because it's, for me, often a problem is starting it. If I can't start it, then usually I can't finish it. However, it's always it's always this problem of overscoping. Like setting yourself too much boundaries and also too much requirements, and then also always thinking about the end product. Like having this giant image in front of your head. Oh, it's gonna be like this, and it's gonna look like this, and it's gonna be so awesome, and I'm gonna get so many views and so many good comments, and everyone will say, "Oh, AZ, what a nice video!" And then, well, I will do this, I will add that. It will be so awesome. It will be mind blowing. It will blow everyone's mind. But then it turns out that, yeah, it you just can't start because the image is so big in your hand that you get overwhelmed even thinking about starting. Um, yeah, but I guess it's also something that others might feel. Um, yeah, the singing was also pretty significant, I think, because that also got promoted by Shah in the community tab. However, um, I also didn't make it. It was like the video was holding entirely made by Royal Mike. I just asked him if he wanted to join. However, my editing was kind of trash at that time, so I just let Royal Mike know, and then he kind of took over the whole editing. Um, so I didn't really consider it my original video. I didn't make the thumbnail for version A. However, it's worse than the one for version B. But well, it's okay. It's called the community channel after all. The 300 subscriber special. Um, I found it kind of special because it was a video that got reacted to by others, I think. I don't know if it was just one person or multiple people who reacted to that. And it just felt special to have like people reacting to you, even if it's for a cheaply made video and with audio stolen from some G player. I forgot his name, beating a hard level and screaming his lungs out. I just found it funny and inserted in there, and clearly others found it funny as well. Oh yeah, it was pretty nice to have people react to it. And also RSCC went a bit on. However, oh yeah, then we also got Ascent. That was also a really, really nice project. I wasn't involved in it myself. I didn't make any music. I did make RGD music, RGD song. However, it was such a bad song. I don't know if any of you remember it. Oh yeah, before I should answer the question, sorry, I only have these two tabs open. I also only have two tabs. The one I use for OBS is the one in front of me, so I have something to look at. To switch between the camera and the screen, and on the other is well, my browser. Oh yeah, AZ means Animationszentrale, yeah. I first started in like 2017 when I wanted to get back into YouTube, but like secretly because I was like kicked out of YouTube by my parents, who like told me to delete everything because of my interaction with strangers at that time. I suppose it was understandable. However, I did feel not that great about it and didn't feel like I would be allowed back. And made stuff secretly. However, I didn't really start back independently, I think. I think it first started on me making animations for my friends. Um, for my, like I had two classmates, and I also had one other from elementary school who was who I also reconnected with online. I didn't make animations for them. They were like not good. Where it was like this kind of attempt to get to get some of that creativity still roaming around that I had out of there, even though there wasn't much talent. Yeah, and that's when and also when I first made my channel, Stickman Kanal in 2014, my goal was to make animations that were like suitable for everyone. There were like these animations I watched in the past in like 2012, 2013 when I was like a small child. Were like full of swears and gore and all of that. And I didn't really find that suitable looking back for children. So I thought, yeah, how about I make myself stand out by the fact that it's family friendly, that everyone can watch it. So it was like meant to be central for kids who like watching animations that are suitable for everyone, or even adults who don't like swearing or any of that. So yeah, because it was meant to be central and to be like animations, it was called Animationszentrale. The Animationszentrale was like kind of a collab. It was like me, the animator, like produced animations for the other channels. So the Animationszentrale was like more than just one person, but like a sort of organization, if you can call it that. And also that's also why the first logo of Animationszentrale showed so many other these strange letters. I think it's best if I just show it myself. Let me just pull up the icon. However, I don't know if I can zoom in. Wait, I'm going to quickly mute myself and then look, because otherwise it's probably gonna make some noises. Okay, yeah, basically as you can see here, this was like the first logo of Animationszentrale. The stood for sticky, that was me. There was K, that was stand for Capo Extreme, which was one of my classmates, and also JFreak14, also one of my classmates in Nevis, which was the one from elementary who I reconnected with and also made animations for. Very shitty circles, lines in that time. It's not in that area. It's not even fully in there, and also not fully in the left side. But that's kind of where the art set kind of first appeared to the AZ. Also, this was the green thing inside of the thing was lured to an older logo, which was a very it was a very creepy symbol of my channel. I don't think it was. I'm not sure if it was here. Yeah. Um, it was like a shitty channel, shitty website I made using some website maker in 2014, 2015, 2016, something like that. Um, oh, well, about your health issues, I do hope that you both will get well soon and hopefully have a speedy recovery. I've personally been doing pretty fine health-wise. Well, mental, there has been some complications from family stuff. However, from health-wise, it's like physical health-wise, it's all pretty neat and dandy. Oh yeah, I was talking about the RSD song. So there was once I was kind of the first one to make a song for the server. It was called RGD song. However, it was made using like a Magix music maker and it sucked immensely. It just wasn't enjoyable. It was made using samples, it wasn't even my own melodies, and even if it wasn't my own melodies, the mixing was so damn horrible that I don't know when it was. I think like maybe a year ago or so that I'm unlisted the RGD song because uh yeah, I'm kind of ashamed of it. However, nonetheless, it was still a pioneer, and that's what Telastic Alliance I don't know Alliance and Azure then made good real thing led by Hamza. It wasn't perfect. However, I would say it definitely was a huge improvement over RGD song actually having an own melody, and some parts were me. I think there was like this one part where there was some kind of audio distortion which kept hitting your ears in a very bad way if you kept listening to it with headphones. That was pretty bad. However, from the melody it was very nice, and also the ending that also had sampled, I think, some level, or well, I guess just let's just look into listen to it. Towards the ending, which level it was. I forgot what level it was. I do remember the melody, however, I don't remember what level it was. I'm sorry. Was it faster? Could it be faster? Dun 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 dun. Okay, actually, I need to look into this now. Rolling Sky faster. Typing with one hand, and not because the other one is busy doing naughty stuff, but because I literally have the microphone in my hand. Dun, dun. Okay, yeah, definitely it was faster. Okay, great. After a while, it managed to come into my head. That's nice. It's very annoying that it keeps resetting to the latest videos. When I want to look through the videos, it's very annoying. So we just have to scroll back down. Also, my internet doesn't seem to be doing the best right now. However, also when watching videos earlier, there was this weird lag. Not lag, but loading. Yeah, anyways, where are we? We were at... Okay, it seems you may be able to tell that it keeps reloading. The podcast were there already, however. It's a weird... Okay, cool. I can't even um reload properly. So it's only one bar now, so I hope it's good now. Bro. Okay. Now it's the last video I posted was 5 years ago. The problem is I cannot really talk. I cannot really talk about the column without having seen it because this series was quite deep and it's also like been through so many years. I would argue it's not 1000 in that time wasn't really that impressive given we had so much time and uh so much time passing by and so many communities who came and went by. And then like some of them seeing and then subscribing and then becoming inactive and moving on but still being subscribed because they're too lazy to unsubscribe. And then the next generation coming and then also subscribing and eventually the cycle repeating. So I'm guessing it was mostly yeah, going on something like that. And yeah, we had Ascend and then we had some things. It was also 2020 when RSD like turned 2, and also during the time where um Rolling Sky Discord became Reflex Games Discord. The last video before, or well, maybe during that time was, I think that's by Hamza, made in February of 2020, and then there was a long pause of making videos. You can see here 5 years ago and then 4 years ago. That was like a pretty dead phase for the server. The next one, as you can see, was on April 9th, 2021. I think it also represent the situation of the server pretty well. It was like not that active, and it was a weird phase. Not all of us really knowing what was coming next, and also the pandemic also bring radical changes to our life. And then Rolling Sky dying, and people moving away, and some coming, and a weird community forming with all sort of split staff teams, and then the fact that some new communities were taking over, and then some topics became more normalized, which were like more on the NSFW side. It was there's a lot. However, in general, it was a pretty weird time also for me. But then Pinkyo came back with his Friday Night Funkin' themed volcano video, which I was pretty grateful for. And then in 2021, also was like, I think they plan to make um a song every year. So they made the RL song after Rolling Lounge was Rolling Lounge, and I think I was the one who just suggested calling it Rolling World because I know I just like the giant scale that Worldwood gave, and actually there was also a name I wanted to put to RL at one time. I think I wanted to symbolize that we were getting different. I seem to be lagging a bit, however, I don't think there's something there's much I can do about it at this point. I already set it to the most efficient H.264. The simple as that we are better and that we are becoming something so much better than what was in 2020 and building everything up. Like revamping the whole event section and also partnering up with all the fan mates to improve the server significantly from the relative wasteland it became it became in 2020. But I don't think that was really received well. I think the most wanted to stay with Rolling Lounge. So I guess that was like a way for me to reuse whatever I wanted to implement. And also, well, that way it became the song name. Say, and also because of my opinion being acknowledged in a quite significant matter, I suppose that's more or less the lore of the name. Yeah, what else do we have? Yeah, that was like pretty inactive phase. 5 years and then 3 years. Level Wave, that was first first video where I really say I cooked. It wasn't actually it wasn't that special of editing. I mean it did look pretty cool. I would say like the zoom effects and also the cool ass song. Um the lore behind that is not safe for YouTube actually. However, I did write about it in the Rolling Lounge wiki, so I guess I don't really have to hide it. So like these very right wing communities, they also do edits, and these edits do contain some topics that are not good. Especially as a German, I don't approve of these topics. Like the Germany's past wasn't wasn't nice at all, and very bad things have been done, and atrocities and all that. But those people who still glorify those things often express it through edits. And there was like this one pretty popular edit with that song in particular, and then I also saw an edit of it, and but a parody edit of it. It was like a bunch of pictures popping up and differentiating between the images, between various images that popped out. So I thought, okay, maybe the theme sucks, but the way these images are popping in while the cool ass music is playing sadly misused to those very bad themes. That's pretty cool. So given that there was like this consensus of asking where Rolling Sky was, I thought that could be pretty neatly combined into this project of making people ask for it in a very angry way and then displaying it in a video in a joke edit like that. And I would say I personally would think it's one of the best projects I've did because there was like a sense of community within that. And also like I think that's a better promotion than these oh come join us, we're so good. Like having some humor and some funny things to make videos about, and then yeah, I'd say it was a really nice project. It was kind of short looking at it, but we did make up for it with Level Wave Neo later. And then, oh my god, the legendary Rolling Lounge Rewind. Yeah, by Bendy. So also some lore behind that. Already wanted to make a rewind of Rolling Lounge, or well, Rolling Sky Discord. That's how it was called back then in 2019, because it was already clear that the server was going to change significantly. As well, I can also drift in the lore between the RSD and RL phase real quick. So eventually, so the thing was that updates kept releasing regularly. However, it came to be that members of the community didn't feel acknowledged by the developers, and by the time I think they might have also seen that other game communities also have very engaging devs, and well, there's always this kind of split between games and developers, especially on the international side, given that they don't hang around much in these communities, and I think getting into the Chinese communities was hard, and even then there's like a language barrier between them. I did try to sign up into QQ once, however, I didn't really succeed. There was a QQ International, but even then, I think the group has some requirements of joining, and that wasn't really fun. So I didn't really feel connected with the devs either. We had some devs join the server. Figo, I think, Wang, Grace. I think there was also some more. However, maybe they joined, maybe they sent some messages. However, they didn't really interact with the community in the same scale that like Kokiran devs. I think I've heard they are pretty interactive with the community, even if they don't talk. Like saw that Royal Mike also had his video featured maybe once or even more. I'm not really sure in the Cookie Run game itself. And also RobTop in regards of Geometry Dash, also interacting a lot with this community, especially in Discord times. Like there were, I think, even 3 messages of mine that he responded to. A normal peasant like me who isn't even that deep into GD got to interact with the developer of the game. So that kind of shows that the developer interacts a lot with the community, but this wasn't really the case with Rolling Sky. The one who I got to interact the most was probably with Grace, who I did ping one time because of a bug that would allow what was the bug about again? I think it was about getting 1 hour of unlimited was it 24 hours? However, you were able to get revives for these unlimited revives for a very long time. I think was it 5 minutes? I think the default was, I think, 5 minutes or something, so not that much. But I did find some bug where you could revive significantly longer, and I did ping Grace for that. And I think she asked me to like do some more debugging. I think to tell my device information or something. But that was also it, and that wasn't really for fun purposes, but only like something that could affect them monetarily, so it didn't really feel that genuine. But well, eventually people became dissatisfied. We also had a suggestions channel where we suggested things that Rolling Sky could have. There was like a group of people who had like this fantastic ideas of transforming Rolling Sky into a truly exciting game. There were also complaints of not reusing a mechanic, like a mechanic gets introduced and it never gets reintroduced again. Gets wasted the potential, and being the levels being boring overall. So yeah, there was like dissatisfaction with the developers, and eventually it just kind of turned into a movement to disassociate with the Rolling Sky devs and like becoming our own thing. Like turning into a community lounge or something like that. Yeah, one of the main ideas was to turn it into a community lounge, just talking about general things, general Discord community. There was some people who were really scared that Rolling Sky would be completely thrown away. However, then there was, yeah, I'm not really sure either what was the true intention. However, in my eyes, it didn't really seem like that we wanted to throw like in my perspective, it wasn't that we should throw Rolling Sky away completely, but just not have it as our official game. It's like the only game that we support and even more. So before we had Reflex Games Discord, where we had Rolling Sky, Dancing Line, and Dancing Ball. But then we threw out the others because they weren't really significant. And for Dancing Line Discord, there was also the Dancing Line Discord, so there wasn't really need for that. But then we more or less became the definitive Rolling Sky Discord, and yeah, but I think that was kind of then not seen as something we would want, so we eventually, after voting, the other options weren't really serious, I would say. One option was to return to RGD, however, it was then later, I did put that in the poll, but it was later then ruled out that we can become RGD again because of the insignificance of these games, and I think there were also some conflicts with some other Discord servers regarding us bringing back games that would maybe shift away attention from them. I think there was an issue with DLD, us making Dancing Line our game. However, the other options were also, I think, merging with other servers. There was one option of merging with Crafty Mike Discord, the server of Royal Mike, and I don't know about the rest, but there was also one option of merging with Moose Discord, which was like my server. I did have a lot of Moose Discords, beginning from 2017 when I first made Mooses in like July or August of 2017 in Turkey, trying to make a moose without any reference and then making the abomination, or rather masterpiece, that it became, which nowadays is also my mug. And also on the other side, you can see mooses are great. So yeah, one could argue it looks like an abomination, but for me, I'd say it's become something very important and beyond. Yeah, I did make these moose discords in 2017, and then later when I joined RL, it also became a lot more internationalized. The meme, I'd say, it was like not Elche, 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 but also like mooses became pretty popular as a meme in then Reflex Games Discord. And to do the internationalization, there was also like one server by Justin, the Moosephere, which was like the Moose Mafia. However, I also did turn up with all these with an international Discord server from Mooses, but they weren't really constant. And also that time in 2019 where I got banned from Discord for apparently threats and harassment because I was part of a server that did it, even though I didn't really do it myself. That also became lost, so I urged him to move to a new server. However, there wasn't like this one stable Moose Discord that was alive all the time. There were a lot of Moose Discords, where one funny idea was then to merge it with a Moose Discord and make the server Moose themed. I think that was something we did joke about quite a lot, making it Moose themed. And one time in April Fools I also did that. However, to this day, it hasn't fully become emerged into the Moose Discord that we've all wanted. Yeah, anyways, it kind of had to become a community server. But to break the panic, it was like that. It just isn't the main game anymore. That it's still allowed to be talked about, but it's not the official game anymore. And that's well, at first there was still Rolling Sky talk, but then it died and it lost significance, and like it was just all a weird time. But yeah, that's why I wanted to make Rolling Lounge. Oh my god, we went so deep. That's why I wanted to make a Rolling Sky Discord rewind, given that it was ending and RL, the new phase, was soon to be starting, albeit with a lot of issues. Anyways, but because of these issues, it's kind of stopped. Because like there was this drama between apparently Royal Mike raiding the Dancing Line Discord by saying that, and I think he said in Crafting Mike Discord that something was going on in DLD, like there was drama in DLD, and that I think turned into many members or a handful of members going to Dancing Line Discord and saying, "Oh, I'm here. Who is here from CMD?" And I think Asia didn't saw that as raiding, and there was like this, yeah, that's basically the whole drama, and then a lot of bad stuff happening afterwards, arguments of, oh, you gotta kick because he's breaking the terms of servers, or I will do bad stuff to the server, removed our lovely bot that we had, Hepboat, from the server because we were supporting him. But yeah, it was like an ultimatum: remove Royal Mike from the staff team, or I won't be with y'all anymore. However, the staff team kind of chose Royal Mike because it was never kicked out of the staff team. But I guess in retrospective, might have been better given Asia is like cancelled now because of because of the messages that have been shown by him. Of him doing all that to younger children, or well, people who are 12 and in no community that's going to be seen well. Anyways, yeah. And because of that, I was like always in this middleman position, the one who resolves issues. However, that also became kind of too big for me. And when that time came, I just kind of held that silent because I didn't want to talk about the topic at all and to make a decision on what to do or what not to do. So I just kind of went away at that time. That break was long. I'm not sure how long it went. However, went quite some time. But by that time, there was also no point in making a rewind anymore, given how the server was looking. Anyways, Bendy knew of it. I think he was there by quite a long time. I think even 2018, 2019, he was there, and then, well, I'm not sure what exactly gave him the idea anymore. I think I could look it up and find out. Um, However, then he made the rewind, which was less a rewind and more of a shitpost fest. However, that's what I feel it makes it pretty nice. I do find it pretty charming, and that's also why later on there were more. Um, I don't think anyone is watching at the moment. Oh, there are 2 people watching, I think, but I'm going to take a bit of a break. I don't have anything to drink with me right now, but I think it's a good idea to get something to drink. And I suppose we can just continue after I'm back. Yeah, I'm gonna write a text because I don't know how much it will take, and type BRB. In the end, it's not about having as many watch as possible, but just doing what I want to do, which is talking at the moment about various stuff. However, yeah, I'll be back. So, hello again. After quite some time, I'm back. At last, after eating some dinner. And having a bit of a conversation. I'm gonna try. Need to untangle this mess of cables. Sorry. The personal life is AZ Madroma. That's the name I usually use online, however, commonly known. The real name, Furkan. That's the person. Okay, so now I have to get back into where we were. Oh wait, I should probably take off my headphones because I don't actually need them. It's something I get used to from using the PC all the time. However, in this case, I don't need it. Okay, anyways, where were we? Yeah, I think we were at Rolling Lounge Rewind, that I found it pretty nice. Even though it's a joke, it's still a nice joke, in my opinion. It's still a sentiment of something that represents, like, maybe not that representative, but it's still something I personally can enjoy. And then, well, the Rolling Sky videos, I did try to log in, been more into Rolling Sky at that time, made my first Rolling Sky remake level, and that one, I'd say got pretty good attention. There were like people downloading and saying, "Oh, that was fun. I beat it." As my one person said, is that was one of the first harder levels that they've beat. So that was pretty nice. There was also Edson, I don't know his name, recording it and uploading it on his YouTube channel, also on Bilibili. I think the comments in Bilibili made a bit more fun of it. However, well, it's okay. The roots weren't that good. I'd say it was pretty bland and it was pretty unplanned. It was like a level I did for fun, and it was mainly inspired by Rocket by OTFT. Banger level, by the way. Just stunned me how fast paced it was. The music was really pumping and kicking. It was all pretty swell. And also the Stomper is stomping on it all the time, and that felt kind of cool. So I also tried to make a fast-paced level that would also stomp a lot. And as you can see, stompers, 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 stompers. And a lot more stompers. But I went to it quite deep, and I found these moving tiles pretty cool. So I also made this. Also made these. And it just became a lot with the Eurobeat remix. It still turned pretty well, in my opinion. Oh yeah, Bendy. Yeah, it's an amazing project. There was a lot of effort put into it, and the forest scene, especially the forest scene, is something that we all as video creators can take a huge look on, because it's simply peak writing. I also got my order because my throat was turning dry. So yeah, I got that. But yeah, for my first level, I'd say it was a pretty good one. It's definitely not the best, and it has many many things to improve on, but I would say at least it's iconic. Um, out of all my personal levels, I find Careless Whisper to be the most iconic one. Also, I was just testing if the rain now noises outside get heard, but I don't think they get heard. Let me just be silent for a moment. No, I don't think it's audible. At least my OBS doesn't show it that way. Anyways, we've come far enough. I think that I could just go on from the newest and just scrolling up that way because it's tiring to do that. I, I would say most of the uploads were before the Rolling Lounge revamp. So yeah, this giant gap. Oop. Okay, something is definitely wrong with my YouTube because first there's like Rolling Out Fever Dream, and then after that is the Rolling Tournament. That's not correct. I'm gonna see if reloading helps, and yeah, it does. Okay. So let me just scroll back into everything we did. However, once again, doesn't work. So, oh, Master Monovin also popped in. Hello. Greetings to the stream where I talk about random things that just come to my mind and don't really have that much meaning in particular. Oof, YouTube is tripping again, so I'm going to reload YouTube and go into the page again. That seems to be the most effective way to do it. I don't know why it is especially that way at the moment. I guess it's like in German we call it Vorführeffekt. Like effect that something goes wrong when you try to show it to others, and otherwise it's fine. Anyways, let's hope. Again have a bad feeling about this. It seems like everything is just looping again. And it's once again frozen. But I would like, the connection seems okay. So I would guess that my internet connection isn't that bad from here. It's not as good as it was in my old home, however, it's still pretty decent. And also we have a mesh repeater, so okay, good. We got there. So now where we were in the Rolling Lounge Rewind section and the Best Rolling Sky remake, yeah, that it was pretty iconic of a level. And out of all the levels, I would say that's definitely most iconic. And I'm actually going to close the windows because it's starting to rain relatively heavily right now. So wait. Okay, back, and well, it kind of sucks that it's raining because it does get relatively warm in here. So I do prefer to have the windows open in order to get my cold air in here. But I can't open it that much if it's raining. However, I would say the temperature, the low temperatures here at the moment would hopefully suffice. Yeah. Also, when I tried to get into RS modding a bit, at that moment I also had like a bit of a personal problem with how the community was going at that time. Oh, now it's dark. Well, you still can't see me at least. And also good to hear that your mom's surgery went well. That's great to hear. Where was I again? Yeah, the restrictivism in the Rolling Sky community, that was something that pissed me off quite a lot. Because it felt like this, okay, we do have the technologies to bring Rolling Sky back spiritually by modifying it and making our own levels, something that the community has always wished for. We know the way, but we're not going to show because of legal reasons and all that. Uh, yeah, I feel it was just less keeping yourself safe and more gatekeeping out of quality or ego reasons. That's what it mostly felt like to me. And I just frankly hated that there were so many restrictions put into place to make it inaccessible for the more normal people and to like have a certain sense of elitism over the community, like the elite who has access to fulfilling the dream of having customizable levels that they have always wanted to do, and that that's it's forbidden to share all these methods, and also some fan mates that are not being shared. That was also pretty weird, in my opinion. You have levels that are not downloadable. You cannot play them in any way, but you still share the videos of it, and then you get mad when people ask for download. I found that quite weird, because I find Rolling Sky not a game to watch, but to play. And if you watch, then usually, well, in my case, it's to watch in order to be able to play it better. But I don't watch because I find these things enjoyable to look at. Rolling Sky, I find, is a pretty basic built game. Unlike in GD, there's not like, I don't see that much reason to look at Rolling Sky levels without beating reasons. Because there isn't that much aesthetically to do, and I find Geometry Dash to be able to have a lot more creativity, and then I do find it a bit more reasonable to look at them, but I don't really enjoy looking at Rolling Sky videos. Gameplay wise, if they're like, they don't have any additions to them. Like stuff like Pinkio's content is pretty neat, I think. Having also some commentary and some additional creative stuff put into Rolling Sky's levels, that is something that is enjoyable for me, but not just pure gameplay videos. And then sharing those, which others are attracted from, but yeah, I just didn't really see the point in sharing them if you don't intend to make them playable. So I did actually get somewhat happy when Rolling Infinity got leaked, because I was like, I don't know, I did feel some kind of hate regarding that. That even though I didn't encourage it, I mean, I didn't spread it, I think, and I've also not actively wanted to do it, but I did hate the elitism and restrictivism. I recall even crying about it once, which looking back might have been stupid, but yeah, it was like this huge opportunity, this whole potential that could be laid upon the community, but it being restricted, I hated it. However, then Rolling Sky Remake came, and that was really damn great. But there is still like this the edits were still different. I don't know. At that time, I don't think it was. No, it was pretty good. Actually at that time. However, I did want to make an open alternative. Um, Something that was open, and I kind of went that kind of radically. I think I put into all my descriptions that it would be fine to download it and use it and do whatever you want with it. Kind of like the open source licenses. I don't think I knew them in that much in detail like the MIT and GPL licenses. However, I already was a huge fan of being able to take something and download it actually, and do with it whatever you want and modify it in way you want to like strengthen the creativity and the connectivity between the community. Obviously, because I'm not that much of a relevant person, I don't think it did make much difference. However, I did still try to make my part into it. As you can see, and here it says, feel free to download the levels, add it, modify it however you want, publish it anywhere, no credit needed, just do anything with it as long you have fun. Don't limit yourself. I was like trying to be that person who would strive for openness in the community. However, given I didn't really do anything that relevant, it didn't really matter. I think the most relevant thing I did was Rolling Sky Titanium, which was like just me patching Rolling Sky with Lucky Patcher and then copying the files for it and uploading it online. Also, I think we're back in the chamber. Whatever. In the meantime, uh, yeah, Rolling Sky Titanium, it was basically just me, yeah, patching Rolling Sky in a rooted phone. And it also worked only for rooted phones, patching it and then copying the data and putting it into that Titanium backup. And there were also instructions on how to install it, and I did try to make it relatively good, and I think some people actually had some use for it. I don't think it was I'm not sure if it was editable. However, it did unlock, I think, some of the Alan Walker levels, which were locked, and also and in general had, I think, all levels unlocked in general, which at that time, I don't know if it was possible. Whatever, I don't know. I'm going to see if I can finally get out of the chamber. However, the rotating bars keep increasing and increasing. Man, TS sucks. Okay, the moment I reload, the stuff loads. And now I'm going to crash out if it now doesn't load. But it looks pretty good to me. Yeah. So let's move on. Yeah, to Rolling Mooses. I did kind of start to do quirky things with it. The one thing was to play around with Reshade. It's like a program that you can use to post-process games you play, putting effects on them more or less. And then I think there were like people doing it with Geometry Dash and then saying it would be Geometry Dash with RTX, even though it isn't really RTX. It's not even ray tracing. I think it's just post-processing. Actually, I'm not knowledgeable enough to know if ray tracing can also be used for post-processing, but it's definitely not. I wouldn't say it's shader, it's shader-ish, something like that. It's not like within the game itself, but afterwards. And also went to something wonky and played around with the effects a bit, and then also like played around with the program that you can assign specific movements to the controllers and to make it playable on a controller. I don't think I have seen anyone do it before. And I did feel kind of great to being the first one to do it. However, the tutorial kind of sucked because I was so silent and the market for people who wish to play the Rolling Skies web version, Steam version on controller, I think that audience isn't that big. Neon 2012 edition was also a pretty fun one. So that's, I think, by Pinkyo, who made this one mashup between Gangnam Style and Neon, and that I think that fit pretty well. I think I have to look at it once more. I didn't look at it for quite a long time.
Opern Gangnam Style.
Yeah, there you can see us
Gangnam
two.
Style. 낮에는 따사로운
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Was pretty neat. There was also someone who made another version of it where it synced better, and that was pretty nice. But yeah, all these creative contents, I think that's what makes RLC so great. It's definitely not the greatest, however, it has somewhat creative content. It's like, it's not, it's more than just bland Rolling Sky gameplay, because I think the gameplay market is already pretty satisfied with the amounts that with the amounts of gameplay that there is. Just one channel would be enough, honestly, but well, more doesn't hurt. But I think this is something that is a somewhat of an enrichment to the community, even though it's kind of limited to the RL community. However, technically it would also appeal to maybe the wider community. Whatever. I still think it's not something that's completely useless. So I did continue making some more Rolling Sky remake levels and uploading them more by also allowing others to submit their stuff. Was pretty nice. I couldn't beat most of them though because I was so bad on PC and I didn't really want to record on mobile, and even if I did record on mobile I would have to do it widescreen, and my phone wasn't really suitable for these widescreen gameplays. So I just mainly did those on PC, and the recording quality on PC is also way better. But if not, then I just did reviews like this one by Afton. I just recorded it because it was so damn hard I wouldn't be able to ever beat it. And then uploaded some more, and then came also Workspace with Rolling Loud Slanders. He was also a very good friend of mine at that time. We came to know each other from RL and then became closer and closer, eventually too close. Yeah, the Slanders were also a pretty nice addition, in my opinion. It's like, these kind of memes kind of are something that makes the community feel one. It's something I think a community should have, to feel like good with each other, to be able to have content about key characteristics about one another. It's in my opinion, it's a nice thing to have such memes. Anyways, more some shitposts or whatever, and then we kind of move on to the modern era, which was characterized by like upload. This one was by Hello Tankster, DD1 even, and also my kitten application. Doing a bit more meme stuff. And then also, yeah, the Rolling Skies singing. That was something I wanted to do on a lot more bigger scale. I did make a whole category in another server that I made, RL Extra. So in 2021, I wanted to expand on the Rolling Lounge more and make it bigger. Not to expand from the channels, but to make how do I say it? But I'm going to drink something first. Basically, I did find that with the new fanmates that we made, that there was that Rolling Lounge was getting too full, and that we should perhaps not split up, but make it multiple servers. Given in the Geometry Dash server and the Media Play Discord server, they also had similar systems of like having several servers which were all governed by the main server. Those were like districts of the server, or the same administration or whatever, all kind of like one server but split into multiple servers. I also wanted to do that, so I just put like some kind of theory. We could see it on the Rolling Lounge wiki. I did write about it somewhere. Network opening was the name. The network opening. Yeah, this was basically my theory. Where this question had stayed all the way from the start of the era. Let me make it bigger. This question had stayed all the way from the start of the era until 2021, where a theory was formed on why the server had gotten in such a situation. To create that theory, several servers were inspected and several testing servers created to see what keeps people active. One study of this theory included the clear benefit of a server if it has a defined topic. This theory elaborates this by saying that people interested in a topic would rather search a Discord server which had that interest as main topic to ensure that it be clear that members of the server shared the same interest as the member who did, which would be a benefit in terms of conversation possibilities. At the time, Rolling Lounge Community Center, the main chat has issues building up conversation, which was explained with the theory. To fix this problem, solutions were researched by the management, which came to the conclusion to take a concept of server management done by other servers in Discord, such as Media Play Discord and the Geometry Dash server, which was networking. A way to make servers more topic-specific. Starting from October to December, the network structure was planned and then eventually built until its initial release on November 21st of 2021. Basically, the theory was, okay, there isn't the topic of the server isn't specific enough. That's why people are unclear on what they actually talk about. If it's in a if they're in a place where there are many topics conflict on each other and you don't know what dominates. And also with Rolling Sky dying, there's not Rolling Sky to take as a dominant role, and there's also Rolling Sky Remake, there's also Rolling Sky Fanmates. What's going to be taught in there? All three of them? Probably not, because not everyone is interested in all of them. So the idea was, okay, let's split on interest groups and then make sure that the ones who are interested in that just go into that server, and the ones who are in that, they go in that server. And then they can maybe merge better, like grow closer, because they have a better ability to talk, because they're more encouraged to talk about the topics because the server is themed that way. Maybe it would have worked. I also did first. What I did was make the new servers, which was the topics following fanmade rhythm join, and the whole, everything fanmade related would go to a fanmade hub, and Rolling Sky Remake to the Rolling Sky Remake server, and also an appeal server. So to appeal any bans that you had gotten from Rolling Lounge, because previously the other way was just to hook up with an admin or a staff and then somehow hope that you're good enough with them that they consider showing you to the other staff to discuss a possible unban, which was kind of complicated. So we also added that. Pretty nice, I think. And also the SMP and the wiki were also part of the new network. It was like all different servers. And oh yeah, and they were like the extended network. Basically the RL wiki. The RL wiki, this is like the wiki you see today. By the way, this is the new wiki. I've migrated to wiki.rollinglaunch.net. It's actually done by now, so I did have some trouble. I did spend some time migrating it from the old Miraheze domain into the new one, but this one is actually self-hosted by me, so on my own server and also my own database. And I do have that issue that Miraheze is pretty slow for me personally. I haven't seen anyone else report otherwise, but for me personally, it feels pretty slow and sluggish. There's often also that issue that it's you have to be active, or else there's like a chance of being marked as inactive, showing an ugly banner up there. And if you're inactive enough to make it eligible for deletion, and I don't really like that pressure to be active in order to not have that deleted. So I decided eventually to just migrate it to my own domain, and it also gives some experience on how the whole wiki stuff works. And mostly important, and also the issue with the Miraheze wiki was that a lot of the internal stuff was pretty sluggish and complicated. There was like these templates were super messy. I'm going to explain it first. There were like these templates that we took from Wikipedia. Most of the templates that are used in the Rolling Launch wiki are actually directly taken from Wikipedia. And one of the most important factors of the wiki I find was the info boxes. These neat little boxes that show different information about the server. So I also copied them, but they were like super damn complicated, and I wanted to adjust them, but I didn't really know what I could remove and what not. So I just tested around a bit, and then it came working. However, the implementation of it was really bad. Because it had so many additional information to it that it wasn't needed. That would be copied over to every single damn info box. And what makes it kind of not very overseeable, and also the names were pretty bad. So as you can see, here's like one info box for RJ levels apparently. There's like this child body class above class, and then title above subheader. What a flip, native building name, native name. What kind of native name do Realm join levels have, or what do these even mean? There's some image, info box image, and also coordinates or something, kind of a map. There was like just from actual geographic things, the info boxes copied and then just left there. And there was like some dependencies that I didn't even question why they were there, and just copied them over blindly. Even though they were completely unneeded, they just kept staying in there, even though that's actually not really what's needed. I did now kind of strip it down to what I thought was needed. Let's just type it in. For example, let's take fan-made level and then look into the source. It doesn't have to be that cluttered. That was all pretty useless, and actually that's enough to make the info boxes that they're good enough for us. Yeah. Data should be the more important factor, and this one, like, our info boxes aren't that complicated anyway. But I didn't really bother trying to see why it was that way, so I just rolled along with it. Well, anyways, the wiki is migrated now, and I may do some publicity to do to it later, in order to make the people watch the wiki and edit in there instead of the old Miraheze wiki. I don't know how it will work. Maybe I can do a banner or something in the Miraheze wiki saying that it has moved, and maybe lock down the current one, and everywhere saying there's a new wiki, there's a new wiki, there's a new wiki. Yeah. Yeah. How did we come to this? Oh yeah, the singing. Anyways, after a while I wanted to expand the Rolling Lounge wiki server, or district, how I want to call them. I didn't really want to call them servers, because that felt like we were going to separate things up. Like there was this one plan by the Rolling Lounge staff to split up the server into like a part where people care about the games and one with not. I'm not actually sure by now, but there was a plan to split the server into multiple communities. But I didn't really like the idea of dividing the community, and I wanted to keep them together, and so I kind of like wanted to emphasize as I'm not trying to divide anyone, but like make it stronger. I think that's also why I made an announcement in a channel and Rolling Lounge. I'm going to have to look to see if I can find it. Okay, yeah, I do have the text, so I'm going to need to copy and paste it. But I cannot. Whatever. Let me just go here. As you can see, this idea was suggested in a similar fashion by a part of the staff team in a pre-nuke section of the Rolling Lounge era. However, it seemed like this idea intended to separate people from those they don't like as much as they can. But that's not what the suggestion is about. The suggestion was to make the networking. I in no way want the community breakup, even if it may seem like making a network. It could cause that. It has a possibility to not gather anyone on one server indeed, but as this would be managed in a one central network, there would still be a sense of unity between all servers, and the server Rolling Lounge would still act as a central place for all servers, even when the other servers in the network could potentially beat it in its size. This idea is solely made to give people what they need or want, so a closer community and more interaction can be encouraged. And with that, the community can have a chance of having a stable, wonderful life while it lasts. The past in the past and the future is now. What we do now makes a future, and I want a bright future for this awesome server in this community. Every single one of you, all the 2,100 member people, may they be active or inactive, I want the best for you. Kind of sentimentally written. Essentially that was the goal. But it didn't really work out that well. Like I think the FanMade hub didn't really go that active, but there was a very good idea in there, like Pro XD XD03. I think they have pretty good ideas on how to make the server a lot better. I think they were planning some events, or special events. I don't remember them at the moment on how they were exactly, but they were pretty cool. And well, I'd say the Rolling Sky remake server was probably the most successful one. It had several thousand members, I think 2,000 members-ish. Quite a lot of activity and also featured levels, and I had some ideas on making these levels stand out more and having like a more GD-esque system of having featured levels in there to encourage people to share the levels in there, and also to have connoisseurs to rate levels to help them improve. So those were a bunch of ideas to make them improve on their levels, and because ours are probably more accessible than general RS remakes, I mean RS fanmates editing, I would guess it got more popularity, and also some people like joined to submit, and it was like a pretty neat network. However, it was like not maintained that well. And also one issue that I had is that I really didn't dare removing the conversation channels from the main Rolling Lounge server and then redirecting them forcefully to the new districts. Because I feared that maybe if I did that, I could stop it's like if you're talking somewhere and then and then someone, a moderator or something, says move this to another channel, the conversation just dies because you're like in the flow of the conversation, and then it just get interrupted, and then suddenly you don't know where to start anymore, and then the conversation just breaks. And maybe also not everyone was that willing to just join a lot more servers because, for example, RSP, he had an issue with his server size. That's he had a limit and he couldn't join more servers than he could, and maybe he would have to leave some servers, which you wouldn't see as worth it. People live on the edge on how many servers they've joined. So not everyone, like there were people who were probably wouldn't be aware of it and wouldn't want to join because of whatever reason. And that was like the fear of breaking everything. If something already worked, um, didn't want to risk making it not work anymore and then getting into larger troubles. So I just channels in the main RL just kind of stayed there all the time, even though they were like alternatives. And I think the main ones were still more active. And eventually, it just became a kind of unmaintained. We didn't have that many people, and um, and then it sort of became not that moderated, not moderate that well from my side, especially like having so many servers like RL alone was just was enough for me. But luckily, Brooks Gamer took ownership of it, and it was pretty swell. However, at one time, I think it was mostly hangout of people who are banned in RL and just wanted a place to do their tomfooleries in. I think I did saw a video of a cat getting murdered in it once. It wasn't nice at all, or tortured in some other way. And eventually died down as RSR also died down, and then I eventually decided to just lock down the server and to call it a day. Yeah. However, yeah, the Oracle key was part of the extended network. However, I wanted to expand it with topics. I always had these topics ring around my head on what I could do, but I didn't really want to fill the RL main channels that much anymore because they were already so cluttered, and there were also complaints about how much clutter there was. So I decided to put them all into the RL Wiki server and to expand on it and be a like ultimate server. There were like this one Sky singings from Royal Mike before, but they kind of died. They died out because he wasn't interested in Rolling Sky anymore, and then started with his Cookie Run content, which, well, is doing pretty well, I would say, since he has over 100,000 subscribers now, and also, well, it's surely a new home, and for those who stayed, they don't have any Rolling Sky Sing anymore, so we thought, okay, well, why not try not something to unite the community again and to make Rolling Lounge singing, so the specific members of Rolling Lounge can just sing their level that they want. Oh god, I'm yapping so much. It's way more. Probably yap more than I do like in a week. um, yeah. Anyways, expanded on it. It was pretty well. The first one was Temple Fair. That's also the only Rolling Lounge thing that came out. There were like several roles. I wanted to make it as open as possible, to make as many people participate in it as possible, to make it like a truly community event. However, that comes with its difficulties. Because with many people, you kind of need someone to manage it, and if you're busy, then managing it isn't hard. And to give out like these definitive roles and tasks is also something I'm not that great of doing, so it was like kind of cluttered. And therefore there wasn't much to do. It did eventually get kind of well. They cooked the lyrics and then also the vocals, mostly all up by themselves, and then this, I think I did kind of the final push on putting it all together and then making the video, but then it all turned out pretty well. There were also some others planned. what was it? Was it Chess Fortress, I think, or was it Crisscross? I think one of the chess levels were going to be sang next. Or that also came to its halt. There was like one phase where it was really active. Once again, there were like problems going on, and there was like my relationship with Ariel, which in the last years have been pretty horrible, given the April 5 stuffs in 2023 and 2024. So it just kind of ended. I still think about doing singing sometimes. However, maybe not on such a large scale, because it's simply hard to manage for someone like me. But yeah, it was still a pretty nice thing, and the singing was pretty nice. THM plays especially has a very, or had a very, has had, I don't know, a very nice voice, and it was also really nice editing, I would say. It's like, I would say I did come kind of near the level of Royal Mike's previous singings. So yeah, that was pretty swell. The Petting Fever and some, oh yeah, then came the Skytech jump scares. Those were basically based off congregation jump scares. But I think the first one, if I recall correctly, came from Hello Tankster, DD Wyvern. And I think based on that, I made the first jump scare, and then continued on it. And I think what really set the bar was then Skytech Jump Scare 3, where I had a nice idea of the Happy Birthday level, which would then, where you would go up, and when you go down, it would result in a Skytech jump scare. And it also was one with a lot of views, like what currently 1.2k views. And I also actually commissioned Cinerac to remake the beginning of the Happy Birthday level for me in RSR, because I didn't really want to edit it in Rolling Sky itself, because I frankly don't know. So we did it, and I just put in Skytech in the end, and then all went well. I also and some of Hello Tanks, of Lunas, and also of Zywells, Blouts, Amis, Ethan's Vocasaronix, is also Kathy's, Frogbees, Magmax's, so yummy content for me, views for me, ego boost. But then after the Skytech jump scares, I also kind of died down, because I think that's when the 2024 April dramas happened. Let me see, yeah, February. I think that's when I think Philly pulled up, or Otto pulled up with his alt, and then went like rogue. You can call it that. Yeah. So we left again. And after that, well, after the Skytech jump scares, some kind of went on, but I did kind of want to end it. And then, well, what is there to note especially? I would say the Yusta Boosta are also pretty nice. These are all memes with the misheard lyrics. I want to do that in Rolling Sky version too. I don't know why. I found it. Oh yeah, I understand why now. It was because Ami shared a video of Rolling Sky gameplay of Mask Ball, and then asked what we were hearing, and then I just heard, and then wrote down what I heard, and was like, "Yusta Bustaru Gondoveraki Yusta Ani Yusta," something like that. Yeah. Then I found it funny and made it a whole video, and then it was pretty well received too, with like more than 1,000 views. And I think Rolling Ash also pretty commonly said meme now, and it's often The way that a masked ball gets associated with Juste Booster, other than Juste Booster getting associated with masked ball, that's pretty honoring to become like a meme in the community. Also, one time my brother made a video, which was pretty nice, I would say. And then I decided to make the last Skytech jump scares. There was also my obsession with the Neon Heroes, all the Zia TV songs. And actually, I did put Genius pages for for all the Ziad songs. I could probably show them now. Yeah, here. And even I oh, it doesn't seem to really show who's in it, but what I did is that I teamed up with MV, a member from the server, to make these explanations very a bit ridiculous explanations for the lyrics of the song, but it was pretty fun. And I actually also poured all the other songs, but they aren't as known. I was kind of late on the Neon Heroes fun thing. However, I say better later than never, and I still kind of enjoyed it. Then then I continued making another one for Mecha, Bunagenu High, and even Hookington commented on it, so that's pretty sweet. Some more ship posting, and then, oh my god, Rolling Lounge Rewind 2 Episode 1. Even though it's like set as an episode, is actually the largest one, and also the one with the most effort, and also made a whole edit for it. Um, and also the credit scene was a nice gag that I think was actually the main factor for most people. Yeah, rewinds I think are more or less the main thing now, even though they aren't really rewinds in that sense. However, it has developed to its own term. Like, rewind itself is maybe looking you at, but Rolling Lounge rewind, it means memes all across the place and some lore with like Mr. Lounge and Ballsman at the hood. Funnily enough, during the whole 4 or 5 thingies, my whole trouble with auto is that I said hopefully if in the future we can laugh about it and maybe tell stories about it. And well, eventually that's what happened with Rewind. Is that we more or less made some kind of analogy to the hood attacks, making it sort of Half-Life themed, with Mr. Lounge fighting against the hood, who are attacking Rolling Lounge and Tradesha. And we don't have the best ways to portray it yet, but we are looking for ways to make it better. Maybe not making it truly a rewind, but making it more or Mr. Lounge stories, portraying them better. But here after that, as you can see, the last thing I really did was to drag me down. There was when around the times where I started university, and I said that it could maybe be my last upload, but given the chronically online man, it wasn't, of course. Lounge Mercenaries was done like rewind related, just a bunch of moose pictures and icons put on buff TF2 characters. Added 1,000 subs special, also Mr. Lounge related, and all the rest isn't that significant. However, it shows how much of a way we've come, how much it differed from doing like promotion servers to having whole sagas about some hood were attacking the fictional character called Mr. Lounge. Yeah, more or less anything. We had animations, we had memes, we had serious posts, we had news, we had music. Rather specific trends that we made. Everything, yeah, so much was going on that we've accumulated almost 300 videos by now. Um, for me personally, that's a lot for not spewing out videos that easily. I just can't do it that easily. Um, sometimes, yeah, but generally it's something I look positively back to, and I think I will remember as a good thing that I've been able to do and to take care of. And also, of course, thanking everyone who has also been part of the Rolling Lounge community channel, contributing something to it, making it more popular. I would say the most popular videos aren't even by me, if I recall correctly. Rolling World isn't by me. This is by Royal Mike. This one is by Hamza, I think, and also this one too. This is by Kathy. Okay, yeah, my tutorial kind of went is approaching to be the most popular one. However, most of the things are done by others, and of course, it's gotta be important to give my credits also to them because, as I said, it was more intended to be really a community server. I mean, a community channel that multiple people participate in, and depending on the time, there were also more or less people in it. At the moment, it's not that much, and I don't know if the channel is approaching its end of life or if it's still gonna continue. However, I don't see that I could do much for it soon because I also am growing up more or less and also um, having more things to do, university, if that continues to go well, and even then work. Becoming an adult now and having more responsibilities also means less time to make all sorts of stuff. However, I really still do want to make stuff that I enjoy. Like, there's still some things I imagine of doing, like some edits or some fun animations, some fun projects. That's still some things I would really like to do. Uh, but yeah, with the time, it's not very easy, I would say. Unless we like hand over like to the next generation of loungers to do that, but I don't know if anyone would really be willing and capable of running this channel. And even if it like still feels kind of property, so it's like on one hand it doesn't feel like mine, but on the other hand it also does feel like mine, so I'm a bit conflicted on that. Anywho, it's still been a very nice ride, and even if there isn't much going forward, I still look back at it positively, and you can never know. Like, there was also this one time where we thought RLC was dying. However, it didn't really die, and it came stronger, making the most popular videos after that. Um, we'll just have to see on the dynamics and how things develop. But yeah. Anyways, I would say I yapped long enough. Maybe I could do this more often if I feel like talking about something. This has been pretty fun. As I said, I don't often talk often, and there isn't much audience either, but it's okay to me. Yeah. So anyone watching this afterwards, well, I don't actually have anything to say. If you enjoyed, then sure. Pretty nice that if anyone else would be able to enjoy it, however, I don't expect so. Unless you find my voice relaxing or something. I don't even know how good the audio quality is. I hope it's good enough. The video quality isn't that good yet, but yeah. Maybe I could do it more often, maybe not. However I'm feeling, because it was only done out of mood and not out of any force or anything. All purely mood, and then just see how mood drives you. Yeah, what can I say? Well, again, thanks for all the support, I would say, for the RLC, and also personal support by my friends regarding the situations that we're all going through, and also through all the hardships and all the issues, and then beating all the issues together. Not that I associate anymore, but I still how do I say it? I'm still pretty. No, I don't know how to word it. Yeah. Anyways, it's been a good. Yeah, 2 hours 20, maybe like 2 hours of yapping. Maybe I can find some other topics to talk about later and see. I mean, it's pretty good for me. Yeah, and it felt pretty good for me to be able to do this. And yeah, have a good morning, noon, afternoon, night, evening, whatever. Yeah, and I'm going to end the stream now.